In these small hours, these twists and turns of fate, time falls away. In these small hours still remain.
Hi guys, welcome back to the CharmingAnalysis Podcast. It's been a little bit because it's been hectic for the last couple weeks. Right, honey?
My back hurts.
Yeah, a lot's been kind of going on, so we haven't posted much recently.
Everything hurts.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been exhausted. Jay's been exhausted, but we thought, let's do a little, fun podcast of a guilty pleasure of ours, so...
It's not guilty pleasure. It's legit good. What are you talking about?
Whatever. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons.
Because this movie actually came out 14 years ago.
14?
Gosh, I feel fucking old.
You should feel old, you old bitch.
I ain't that old.
Yes, you are. This bitch is 2.5 years older than me. 3.5. Wait, what?
It's like 2.5.
2.5, 3 years older than me.
Whatever.
You are old as fuck.
Don't be a butt.
You are old as shit. What are you doing?
I'm fixing this because they fell over.
Oh my god, Mommy, you can fix them later.
Anyway, so yeah, this is a movie that came out from Disney 14 years ago, and
In 2007. Where were you in the great 2007?
I was probably preteen, young teen-ish.
What are you talking about?
You were 7.
I was 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, you were younger. You had to be younger. You weren't fucking preteen.
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
You weren't a preteen.
It's hard to remember.
I remember watching this in theaters.
I've seen it in theaters and I've seen it at home, but I used to watch this all the time as a kid.
I think I remember going to see it twice, actually. I don't remember. I just remember going to see it probably maybe 2 times. I don't remember.
Cool.
I liked this movie when I was a kid.
I did too. But yeah, why don't we...
now we talk about it as adults now, so let's see what has changed.
Yeah, anyway, let's, why don't you explain the synopsis of it and give us your thoughts?
Alright, this movie is about an orphan kid named Louis, who is an inventor, and all he wants to do is find his birth mom, because his birth mom abandoned him at the orphanage when he was just a baby, so he tries to invent a machine that will help him remember said birth mother, but the machine doesn't go as well, and a whole bunch of time traveling shenanigans ensue without giving away anything.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie came out 14 years ago, so this is a really old movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's not that old compared to other movies we've seen.
Yeah, but personally, I still feel like this movie holds up. It's one of those movies that sadly a lot of people have forgotten about, but I still feel like it holds up to today's standards.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. The animation didn't really change much, honestly, in my opinion. I feel like it's still really good.
I feel like it did, though.
A little bit, but...
Disney was releasing those movies that were very oversaturated in color. Except for, oddly enough, Chicken Little. Chicken Little does not look oversaturated in color.
Yeah, it's a little bit duller than
it's a little bit duller, and
I eventually want to watch Chicken Little to kind of...
Wasn't that the first CG movie ever made by Disney?
I don't know, something
I don't remember.
like that. But
I think it was.
I eventually do want to review Chicken Little with you.
Watch Chicken Little.
I do. That was my childhood. Look, you got to watch this.
But
you get to watch Chicken Little with me.
But I don't want to watch fucking Chicken Little.
It's probably not that bad.
It is probably that bad.
We don't know.
Did you like Chicken Little?
I actually liked it as a kid.
Okay, well, me too. But now I feel like I wouldn't like it.
Well, it would depend. I would have to watch it again to see. You know what I mean? But that's not for... That's a topic for a different day.
Okay.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about Meet the Robinsons?
I still like it. I probably had a lot more deeper of a connection to it when I was a kid, to be completely fair, though. Because, I don't know, it's just, this movie seemed to go with a lot of, seemed to express a lot of feelings that I was when I was a little
through.
kid. Yeah, but I sometimes elaborated my my emotions through, like, you know, movies that were really attached to me, and I just kind of like went with it a little bit. It was one of those, like, I get one of the movie tropes that seemed to like follow me, and I just kind of have a deep connection with is like kind of children characters that are the main characters in movies that don't seem to really seem to be, it's that old cliche of being misunderstood by literally everyone around you, and having dysfunctional family, or your family not understanding, like, you know, how you are, you have a gift or something, or just, like, you know, adoption. That also helps get me in the fields.
Yeah, like found
because
family
I was adopted. As I was adopted, and I did not know, like, you know, who my parents were for the longest time, and at some point I was like, yeah, you are kind of curious as to why your parents, like, you know, your birth parents put you up for adoption, why, like, you know, you're in this situation, whether or not you were taken care in the system or not. So,
because, like, some people find out about their birth parents and want to be with them, while some of them never find out.
yeah, like me. But I feel like, you know, I just feel like I always have a soft spot for movies like that. The main characters that are, like, you know, misunderstood, or, like, you know, it doesn't even have to be kid characters. It could be adult characters. I still want to judge it based on a movie, because even though this does hold some, like, you know, connection, nostalgia with me, it still is like, well, you know, I had to see this still as a movie, and as a movie, it's more fast-paced than I remember it
Yeah.
being. A very much fast-paced movie. When you're younger, you're stupid, and you don't... You honestly are just like, as long as things are moving and it's funny, then I don't really care. It's like, now I want a little bit more of the feels in
the movies and
yes,
stuff.
I want a little bit more of my feels.
I think everybody does at this point in their life. Pretty much everybody in their life at this point.
In their 20s who
in their, like, 20s want a little bit more when it comes to, like...
20s.
When it comes to, like, their animation and stuff like that. And sometimes want a little bit more to... what I guess they're watching. It kind of depends on what you're into and stuff, but personally, I still like this movie, even because I actually liked this movie then, and I still like it, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't change too much for me, personally, but I still think it's a solid movie that I feel like is underappreciated, because, like, no one really talks about it, which is kind of sad.
Because it's from that weird era of Disney that was, like, early CG that they don't really get talked about.
But it's not bad
2000s,
CG.
the 2000s.
It's not bad CG, though. Like, it's really not. Like, there's worse stuff that came out at that time.
Compared to The Wild?
Yeah, The Wild was bad. Let's not talk about The Wild.
I kind of want to talk about The Wild. Let's watch The Wild.
No.
Let's watch The Wild. See how that compares to
gosh.
fucking Meet the Robinsons.
Why do I have a feeling
When did Robots come out? Didn't it come out in 2007, 2008?
I think it came out like 2001,
This
maybe.
is like
Let me look.
ultimate, like, Meet the Robinsons and Robots
kind of crossover thing.
crossover.
It sounds like it would be, if you think about it.
It would be. The worlds are very similar.
Yeah, that's something I will say about
Except
it. Like,
Robots is a lot more about robots.
it came out in 2005.
2005?
Yeah.
Damn, that movie's fucking old. We actually gotta watch Robots.
I haven't seen Robots in forever.
We gotta see Robots someday. Robots is actually, I saw it recently. It's really funny.
What?
It's really funny. Robots is really funny.
I actually like Robots. It's probably one of my favorite movies and stuff like that, but we'll do it a different day. But let's actually talk about the movie. So what are your favorite things about Meet the Robinsons? Because to me, I like the animation. Personally, I feel like it still holds up. It's not the best quality But I still feel like the story itself holds up, personally.
It all has to do with nostalgia because I kind of watched it, just watched it when I was a kid. Because I okay. Here comes another cringe Jay moment from back in his early childhood. I kind of had a cartoon crush on
Please tell me it wasn't on Goob.
it was Wilbur.
Oh. Okay, good, but what? Why?
I don't know.
I was about to say, like, I swear, if you had a crush on fucking Goob, I would have been like, why?
No, when I was like a kid growing up, I kind of crushed on the on the kind of like, it's the same thing with like, you know, these kind of kid tween, not tween characters. I'm gonna say tween characters because most of them were preteens.
Yeah.
Tween characters that were kind of like, they were awkward. They were kind of a little bit nerdy, but not.
But they
really.
were cute though.
Same thing with Dipper Pines, actually.
Yeah, he gives off, like, Wilbur, I will say, gives off Dipper vibes a little
really.
bit. A little.
Futuristic
Dipper, in a sense. But yeah, this movie I feel like
when he vanished into the sky, my little 7-year-old heart was like, no, Wilbur!
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, okay, that was one of the reasons why I watched this, because I don't know why, I found Wilbur attractive back in the day, and I kind of, that was kind of my first ship between Wilbur and Lewis. But then I realized
that's incest.
Father and son.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. I can't do that.
Anyway, so I guess... So do you feel like this movie holds up to today's standards? Because personally, I feel like it could hold up. With a little bit of updated animation, I feel like it would hold up.
I mean, the bowler hat guy is pretty funny.
You mean Goob?
We call him bowler hat guy.
I know, but his name's Goob.
But I call him bowler hat guy.
Fine, bowler hat guy. But yeah, he's funny.
He's funny.
Like, he's slightly feminine in a sense, in my opinion.
Why would you say that he was a trans icon? I never
Because
saw
I
him.
could kind of see it, because he's slightly feminine.
Oh, shit.
He took the name Mary and stuff like that.
So?
I don't know. I can kind of see it a little bit.
Okay, not me. I never saw him like
I
that.
can kind of see it a little.
I just thought he was eccentric and not well
dressed. Well, not well dressed. I mean, not well clean.
Educated.
That too. But anyway. Okay, so let's try and at least come up with some kind of stuff for this because we're like rambling. Okay, so is this one of those movies like Megamind that you feel like you watched it as a kid, you got some fulfillment out of it, but you get more fulfillment when you're older after you watched it?
Yeah.
Same
the
here.
message, yeah. Not everything. Not anything else. Because I feel like Lewis is one of those characters where he looks down upon himself a lot, and his self-esteem gets the better of him. And I feel like it's a good message to teach for kids who are suffering from very bad self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
Other than that,
not much really holds up.
No, I still like it. It's just in this movie, in my mind, this movie was slower in my mind.
Yeah.
Rewatching again, it's a lot faster paced than I remember.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of true. I feel like it's the same speed to me, but you know what I mean.
A lot of things are slower in my head because I always think about the scenes and not the context of those scenes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess something I want to ask. Do you wish this movie got talked about a little more? Because I personally feel like this movie should be talked about more because, first off, the soundtrack is fucking great for this movie.
The soundtrack's great.
It's sad that no one even talks about the soundtrack. Like, the soundtrack is great.
It's the same person, Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Rightford?
I don't remember,
Rufus Rightford, I think.
I don't remember, but still, at least if you go see this movie, please listen to the soundtrack. We don't normally talk about soundtracks in movies recently, but I will admit this one has a great soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And that's something I do remember from this movie. Like, 2 of the songs in it were honestly pretty good.
2 of the songs, not...
I don't know about the other songs. I haven't watched any of the...
score.
A lot of the scores and stuff in this movie are really good. I'm surprised no one talks about it because it's one of those classics of Disney that I feel like should be talked about more, to be completely honest with you. Like, I feel like it's so underrated, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I also feel like, this is one of those movies that I could I would definitely show our kids if we ever had kids. Because it's a cute movie. So, I guess what's something about this movie that you never noticed as a kid that you notice now that you're an adult? Besides the fact that Goob was trying to say like a cuss word, but he couldn't. Technically.
No, I noticed that.
I never noticed it until I was older.
I noticed it when I was a kid. An older kid, not a young kid. That Goob was trying to present in the same lab that the scientist lady came from. That's the only thing that I was like. That's why I said, "Oh, I'm an idiot." It's the same fucking scientist corporation.
Oh my gosh.
That's the only thing, because I pretty much have watched this movie top to bottom, and I pretty much have wrapped up on my conclusions of it.
That's insane. I guess something else I want to ask, because I feel like this isn't going to be like the longest podcast we've done, but it's probably going to be like a decent size. Mm-hmm. Something I do want to ask though, I guess, is if you had to remake this movie, which I probably wouldn't personally, but if you had to remake this movie, what would you change about it and what would you keep the same? Like, be honest.
I would up the weirdness.
You would up the weirdness?
Yes.
Would you, like, do it in the direction that they did it in, or would you, like, do it something different, or how would you do it?
I would have it...
Well...
more off-the-wall humor.
Yeah, I could see that. More off-the-wall humor. I could also see, like, them trying to talk more about adoption and stuff like that. And just, you know, stuff in general involving that.
I don't need that. I want more time spent with the family.
Yeah, that's something I will say. Like, they should have spent more time with the family instead of, like, a day.
Yeah, a day, and they're like, oh, we want to adopt you, Lewis, after a day.
It's like a day, dude. Like, you need more time to kind of decide, hey, is this really what you want to do?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But they're rich, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so one more thing I'll say before we kind of, like, give our rating, because there's not really much else to talk about, in my opinion.
Okay.
Unless you have more to talk about.
I like to watch this movie when I was a kid, especially around, like, my parents, because I was really close to, like, the story that was taking place about adoption so far, and I asked my parents a lot of questions, like, while this movie was playing, and it was personal questions, and they were like, you know, it was like, you know, I look back on it now and I'm just like, I kind of unraveled some feelings because of this movie. This movie questioned, like, a lot of things in my young head.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's weird. I probably had a lot more connections to this movie when I was a kid than now, honestly.
Yeah.
I claimed it to be one of my, like, top 10 favorite Disney movies. Now, I don't really see it as that anymore. I just kind of like...
You just think it's a good movie.
It mattered to me a lot more when I was a kid. Now it's just like, I appreciate your found family aspect right here. Telling people that, hey, you can find your family. You can make your family.
You don't have to have your family based on your birth parents and shit.
You don't have to.
You can have a found family and still have a family in your life.
Yeah,
and that's something I feel like more people need to understand.
That, but it's like that's not the message, the main message of this movie.
I know.
I'm sad. I'm sad it isn't.
But so yeah, one more question I'll ask before we give our rating. So, what's something about this movie that I guess I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Like, would you want this movie to be remade? And I guess would you do? Is there anything you could change about this movie? What would it be?
That this would be the new Tomorrowland instead of the actual Tomorrowland in the Disney parks.
Good point. I feel like we can all agree on that.
Can we all agree? That
and also, would you recommend?
Tomorrowland?
Yeah. Also, would you recommend this movie to somebody? Because I definitely would.
Yes. I was gonna say if they were like a teenager, but like, I don't know what an adult would get out of this.
This is more of like a kid's movie.
This is definitely a kid's movie. What are you doing?
I'm in trash.
Just dropping shit.
No.
Stop dropping shit.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I think we've rambled on long enough. Let's give our rating for this because I feel like this is one of those movies that, you know, it's a good movie, but I don't think there's much to talk about.
Okay.
For me, I personally give it an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I feel like it's a
Damn, that's a fucking high-ass rating.
I feel like it's a good movie.
8.5?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because I still feel like this holds up. I still like it.
Movie.
I still like it after all these years. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia talking,
I
but
think this is the nostalgia talking.
I still like it.
This is definitely the nostalgia talking.
Look, I still like it even years later after watching it. Because I still feel like this movie is pretty good. It holds up well. And I feel like it's a movie that I wish would get talked about more because it's got potential. You know what I mean? I wish the one thing I wish they would have done was expand on the universe a little bit because I thought that would have been kind of cool. But other than that, I give it a solid 8.5.
I give it... a 6.
You give it a 6? I thought you would have given it higher, honestly.
I enjoyed it. It is a good movie.
You just think there's better ones out there.
In this like category, yes.
But it's a solid film, a good movie.
Like Back to the Future. Actually, I've never seen Back to the Future.
We're gonna fucking watch Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
I've
never seen it. I've just heard about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, honey. Anyway, so that's the end of our little podcast. It's a bit of a short one, so we wanted to give you guys some kind of content, but we are planning some more stuff coming out.
Like
hopefully.
Mitchell's versus the Machine.
Yes, movies we plan to do soon. Mitchell and the Machine versus
Which is coming out next month, so
yeah, but by the time you guys get this, it'll probably be next month because it's gonna happen in like a couple days. So we're definitely gonna be doing Mitchell versus the Machines as a movie. That's definitely gonna be one we're gonna do for a podcast. We also plan on doing Space Jam 2 when it comes out this July, right, honey?
yeah, we don't have much movies to talk about.
But we're gonna get some kind of content out for you guys.
Well, Godzilla and Kong are coming. It's coming to
and also
in a couple of days, unless you want to watch Kong Skull Island before you watch Kong versus Godzilla.
But I know. I will say this though. I know you don't want to talk about it because you already are pissed off at it. But
what, Chicken Little.
No, well, Chicken Little, but that would be a good one to do a review on. But in my opinion, it would be a fun review for me. But we should eventually just talk about how bad season 2 of Promised Neverland was.
No.
Just go downhill about it.
I don't want to. I don't want to revisit it.
Okay, fine.
I legit don't want to revisit it.
Okay, look, I'll say this. If you guys would like us to give our thoughts about it, comment below because I personally haven't seen it yet, but Jay is already done with the series, sadly. So we're probably really not going to watch much. And I don't think they're really going to do much after this season anyway. So if you guys want to hear our thoughts about it, comment below because, oh boy, it was a train wreck. And I feel like it'd be interesting to talk about it.
Not me.
Well, at least a little bit.
I said what I needed to say.
I know,
That's
but still.
Anyways.
Thank you guys for watching for listening to our podcast. It was nice to do something after like a couple weeks of just a bunch of bullshit.
Nothing.
Yeah. So this will be coming out soon, and then hopefully we'll start Mitchell and the Machines probably like in a couple weeks.
Yes.
So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm Mari.
I'm Jay.
And we're out.